Which door should we choose?
Not sure. Let's try this out.
Don't worry, Gangle, I'll get it.
The Digital Circus's official crying emoji come to life. Out of all the characters, she might be the most fragile, literally and emotionally. She's made of ribbons, her entire personality revolves around wearing 2 masks, and one of them is almost always broken. Spoiler, it's usually the happy one. If Pomni panics and Kinger rants about ants, Gangle just cries constantly. Someone sneezes, tears. A monster shows up, tears. Someone says good morning too loudly, tears. She's the group's emotional sprinkler system, and once she turns on, she doesn't stop. So here's the big question. Can crying too much actually be a crime? Because today we're dragging Gangle into circus court for some very specific charges. Mask misuse, for breaking her face every 5 minutes. Emotional pollution, for flooding the group with her endless sobbing. And public liability, for collapsing under pressure when the circus actually needs her. Is it cruel to accuse someone of being too fragile? Maybe. But in a place where teamwork is survival, Gangle's constant breakdowns aren't just sad, they're disruptive. She doesn't just carry her own misery, she shares it like free samples. So, is she guilty of being tragic, or just guilty of dragging everyone down with her? Time to find out. Gangle is what happens when your personality is 90% insecurity and 10% Elmer's glue. Once a regular human, she's now trapped in a ribbon-like avatar that wears 2 masks. One happy, one sad. Problem is, the happy mask is usually shattered, which means Gangle spends most of her time crying through the sad one like it's her full-time job. She's timid, awkward, and perpetually apologizing for existing. Out of the whole circus cast, she's the one least likely to stand her ground, and most likely to crumble at the worst possible moment. If you're looking for emotional stability, Gangle is the last person you'd call. But here's the kicker. Her fragility is so constant it becomes part of the group dynamic. Everyone else either ignores her sobbing, tries to comfort her, or gets annoyed by it. She's less of a team member and more of an emotional background soundtrack. Alright, let's lay out Gangle's rap sheet. Spoiler, it's not murder, theft, or cruelty. It's just being too fragile to function. Crime number 1, property damage. Gangle has one job, keep her masks intact. And yet, the happy one is constantly smashed like it's on a buy one get one deal at the mask store. Every time she breaks it, someone has to patch it up. Glue, tape, string. At this point, the circus should open a full-time repair shop just for her face. Crime number 2, emotional pollution. Nobody cries as much as Gangle. She doesn't just feel emotions, she floods the entire group with them. Every meltdown adds tension, drains morale, and forces someone else to play babysitter. It's like being trapped with a human rain cloud that never ever stops. Crime number 3, public liability. When the circus throws a monster, puzzle, or glitch at the group, Gangle is the first to fold. While Ragatha's helping, Pomni's panicking, and Jax is being an absolute menace, Gangle is curled up in a puddle of ribbons. In other words, she's never reliable when it actually matters. So no, she's not evil, but in the trial of survival, her fragility is treated like a crime against the whole squad. So, how do you put someone like Gangle on trial? Simple. You drag her into circus court, the one courtroom where the defendant is already crying before the gavel even drops. The neon lights buzz, the glitchy NPC jury flickers in and out, and Gangle's sitting at the stand, clutching her broken mask like it's Exhibit A. The charges? Reframed with circus flair, of course. Mask misuse, constant property damage from snapping her face in 2. Emotional pollution, drowning teammates in tears, and non-stop breakdowns. Public liability, folding under pressure every single time danger shows up. Here, intent doesn't matter. Nobody cares if Gangle means to be fragile. If her non-stop crying and mask smashing makes survival harder for the group, she's guilty. And in the circus, even being pathetic can earn you a spot in front of the judge. Let's break this down. Count 1, mask misuse. Let's be honest, if Gangle had $1 for every time she broke her happy mask, she could have bought her way out of the circus by now. That mask is supposed to be her emotional balance, but it spends more time shattered on the floor than on her face. And every time it breaks, we all know what comes next. An emotional meltdown that drags the whole group into sad hour. It's less, oops, I tripped, and more, I committed mask homicide again. At this point, the happy mask should qualify for workers' comp. Count 2, emotional pollution. Here's where Gangle really shines, or rather floods. She cries constantly. And crying alone wouldn't be the crime, except she doesn't keep it to herself. Her sobbing spreads tension like secondhand smoke. Ragatha has to stop what she's doing to comfort her. Pomni spirals faster because Gangle's tears remind her how doomed they all are. And Jax, he just uses it as more ammo for his bullying. In short, Gangle's sadness is contagious, and nobody signed up for the emotional plague. Count 3, public liability. When danger strikes, Gangle becomes the definition of dead weight. Puzzle to solve? She's curled up in ribbons. Monster attack? She's already crying in the corner. A void glitch? Forget it. She's halfway to abstracting just from the stress. The problem isn't that she's weak, it's that she makes the group weaker. Instead of adding solutions, she adds more problems to the pile. The combo effect. Alone, these charges might just be quirks of a fragile character. But together, they make Gangle a liability. She's fragile, sure, but fragility in the digital circus doesn't just affect her. It infects the entire team dynamic. And that's why the prosecution argues, Gangle isn't just sad, she's criminally sad. When it's Gangle's turn to defend herself, the courtroom immediately floods with tears. She doesn't shout, she doesn't argue, she just sobs through the whole thing while clutching her broken happy mask like it's a legal document. And that's the case of Gangle, the circus's tragic mascot turned accidental criminal. She didn't bully like Jax, manipulate like Kane, or rant like Kinger. Her only weapons were broken masks, endless tears, and the ability to turn group survival into group therapy. The courtroom fades, the neon lights return, and, surprise, Gangle is already crying again, proving that nothing has actually changed. Guilty? Technically? Dangerous? Only to morale. Relatable? Way too much. Because in the end, Gangle isn't a villain. She's proof that sometimes being fragile in the wrong place at the wrong time can feel like its own crime.